Daniel arrived in Bleakersville on a day choked by fog, sun, a forgotten memory, air, heavy and still, the town, small houses huddled together like they were scared of something.
I was just passing through. At least that's what I told myself.
He found a room at the edge of town, the Pines Motel. Sign, half-rotted, clerk, eyes like a dead fish. Didn't ask his business, didn't care. Daniel's room was small, smelled of damp and something else, something metallic. He unpacked quickly, just one bag, not staying long. Night came, black and thick. The silence was a living thing, pressing down on him. Daniel tried to read, couldn't concentrate. There was a weight in his gut, a feeling, like something was watching. He finally drifted off, but sleep offered no escape. The cold wind howled through the desolate streets, carrying with it the whispers of the damned. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. The air grew thick with dread as the stranger's footsteps echoed ominously, each step a harbinger of doom. The townsfolk knew better than to venture out after dark, for the legend of Eyeless Jack was not just a tale to frighten children. It was a warning, a grim reminder of the horrors that lurked in the shadows. As the stranger approached, the temperature plummeted, and an eerie silence fell over the town. The only sound was the beating of your own heart, growing louder and more frantic with each passing second. You could feel the presence of something sinister, watching, waiting, and then in a flash, it was upon you. The last thing you saw was the glint of a blade, and the world went black. The dreams started that first night, vivid, terrifying. He was in a forest, trees twisted and gnarled like skeletal fingers reaching for him. The air was thick, suffocating. He could hear something moving between the trees, heavy breathing. Then he saw it, or rather he saw the absence of it, a figure, man-shaped. But where its face should have been, there was nothing, just smooth, empty skin and the smell, like rotting meat.
I woke up, heart pounding. The room was freezing. I could have sworn I heard something outside my window, a scratching sound. I pulled the blanket over my head, tried to convince myself it was just a dream, but the fear, cold and sharp, lingered.
The next day he went looking for information about the town, about the dreams. There was an old library tucked away on a side street. He hoped it might hold some answers, or at least offer a distraction from the growing unease that gnawed at him. The library was dim and dusty, the air thick with the smell of old paper and something else, something musty like a tomb. The librarian was an old woman, her face a road map of wrinkles. Her eyes, though, were sharp and watchful.
I asked about the history of Bleakersville.
The librarian hesitated. Her gaze lingered on him for a moment too long.
Not much to tell. Quiet town, always has been.
I pushed, mentioning my nightmare, the figure with no face.
The librarian's eyes flickered.
Some stories are best left buried.
She turned away, dismissing him. He left the library with more questions than answers. The feeling of being watched intensified. That night the dreams returned. The faceless figure was closer now. He could feel its cold, rancid breath on his skin.
I woke up with a gasp, drenched in sweat. There was a sharp pain in my side. I ignored it, attributing it to the stress and the unsettling atmosphere of the town.
Days blurred into nights. The dreams continued, each one more vivid, more terrifying than the last.
My appetite, it's just gone. I'm losing weight. These dark circles under my eyes, I feel so weak, so drained.
The wound on his side, a small red mark, refused to heal. Desperation fueling his search for answers, he returned to the library.
This time, I didn't hesitate. I led him to a secluded corner, my eyes filled with a mixture of fear and pity. They say he comes for the newcomers, I whispered, my voice trembling. Eyeless Jack, they say he feeds on fear, on flesh.
She told him the legend, a tale whispered through generations in hushed tones.
Eyeless Jack, a creature of darkness, preying on those who wander into his domain, taking their kidneys, leaving them with nothing but nightmares and a gaping wound.
Daniel listened, a chill running down his spine. The legend was too close to his own experiences to ignore.
I have to get out of Bleakersville, now.
The sun was setting as Daniel raced back to the motel. Shadows stretched long and menacing.
Every rustle of leaves, every creak of a branch, it sends shivers down my spine. I feel hunted.
He fumbled with his keys, his hands shaking. Inside his room, he packed his meager belongings.
I have to get out, escape the suffocating grip of Bleakersville.
As he turned to leave, he noticed something on the floor, a small black object. He bent down to pick it up.
It's a mask. White and featureless, except for two gaping black holes where the eyes should be. I recognize it instantly. The mask from my nightmares. Eyeless Jack's mask.
A wave of terror washed over him. He wasn't just dreaming, it was real.
I have to get out, now.
He flung the mask aside, his heart pounding in his chest. The urgency to escape was overwhelming.